Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome back to Tekpon. Today our guest is Phil, the CEO of DevSquad. Hello.
Hey, how are you, Christian?
I'm doing great. It's nice to meet you. Please tell us, what is DevSquad?
So DevSquad is a consulting firm that specializes in helping business build SaaS products. So we work usually with second and third time entrepreneurs as they're trying to take a SaaS product to market. It's usually a spin-off company of whatever company they already have. And that's kind of like where we usually work.
What is the biggest problem that you're solving for SaaS founders?
So specifically our customers, they're very busy because they're running other business, not only this SaaS. The SaaS is kind of like their third or their fourth business. And they don't want to go through all the effort of hiring development team, managing development team, because developers alone cannot build a product. You're going to need developers, designers, testers, DevOps. So there's a lot that's involved. And our customer, they want to just bring the vision so we can bring the product building expertise.
But why would you want to build another product when they have another SaaS companies in focus?
So many times they don't have a SaaS company. They have what you call like a boring business. Like, for example, we're building a product right now for a customer that owns 100 car washes across the country.
Okay.
And then he wants to build product for other car washes like his. So because he feel like the SaaS that he's using right now, it's not good enough because it's built by people that are not industry experts. They don't understand his business. And so he understands his business very well. And he come to us so we can help them build a SaaS product. So he has a business, but he doesn't have a SaaS. That's actually the people that we work with.
That makes so much sense now, yeah. So like a saloon owner or a barbershop owner that sees that there isn't a software for saloon and he wants to build yeah, there are a lot of examples, but I understand what you mean.
Exactly. So we work with car dealerships, with financial advisors, CPAs, many different verticals. We bring the expert comes to us and we help them build a product to their vertical.
That's awesome. And only SaaS?
Yes.
Do you build only SaaS? Yeah,
it's only B2B SaaS products. We stay away from marketplace and other things that require a lot of investment. So we like to stay very focused on the B2B SaaS market.
Nice. And can you share with us some examples of happy customers?
Yeah, so for example, Counting Works. It's a product that we build to help accountants run their business. So it does everything from helping them set up a website to a CRM to get leads. So it's like a one-stop shop for an accountant or a CPA to run their business. So we have been working on the product for a few years now, and they have a lot of customers, like the 9-figure digits. It's a very big customer.
And why should founders choose a development agency instead of building their team? Do you have this question? I guess
Yes, I think it depends. Do you have more time or do you have more money? But actually, I would say most times they should not choose development agents. The reality is most development agents don't understand building a product. They understand a project. Okay, tell me what you want to do, and they're going to go from A to B. The problem with like building a new product, building a SaaS, is that you don't know exactly everything that you want. You need a process that's going to be a little bit more flexible. You need someone that will help you learn and that will help you act quick. So you're more likely actually to be able to do that getting your own team. But when you get your own team, you're going to go to the stages that you have to go with a team to get them to high performing, which norming, storming, forming, and then performing. I think I said them out of order, but it's going to take between like 6 months to 2 years to get a development team to high performance. And you can save that time if you hire a company that actually can provide you with all those people, but actually understand building products. But we have so many horror stories of people that come to us because they hire agents, and agents did a very bad job and hold their code hostage. So unless you can hire a very high-end development company that's very well known, that work with big brands, like we work with ADP, work with Box, work with public companies, I think you're better off hire your own development team and try and go into the process. It's going to be less risk. But like again, who is my customer? Is a person that already have money. It's a person that already has a business and they have more time than they have money. They don't want to waste 6 months to 2 years to build their own team. And so they can afford an agent that has a little bit more of a name, and they're less likely to get screwed. So I would say that 98% of agents out there is a bad idea. And there's probably like, I would say 10 agencies at the level of DevSquad here in the United States that people wouldn't get screwed, but it's not cheap. You know, so that's my answer. So why should founders hire an agent? Should they? If they have the time and the money, maybe they should, or they might be better off to just get their own team going.
You explained it wonderful. And how are you different from other agencies?
Yeah, so like we are really specializing in people build products, not projects. And a product, it's a living being. A product is going to have a lot of changes. You have to take things to market. You have to understand what your users are doing. So when you're building products, we are putting things in place. So you understand the user behavior. We are helping our customer make smart bets. I like to say that building a software is about making bets. And you want to make sure that your bets are not too big. So like sometimes people are going to build a software for like 2 years and nobody's using. You want to make very small, smart bet, 2 weeks, 4 weeks stops, and be taking those to market and be understanding what's going on. And that's kind of like what you try to help our customers to do, to make smart bets. Sometimes the version 1 of a product might take 3-4 months, but you still have to be thinking about how can I be validating things along the way. And that's that mentality of we're building a product or not building a project. We have built more than 100 products for other customers out there. And we really understand how to simplify and help people go to market quick. And that's what makes us different. And also, I have my own SaaS product, by the way, which makes me kind of like very similar to our own customers. So because, again, our customers are someone that built a business and now they're building a second business. I'm doing the same thing myself, kind of like eating my own dog food. I run DevSquad, 100 people agents, but I also have DevStats, my own SaaS, that helps you track if your development team is getting to the high performing or not, and help you get the team there too.
Okay. And what are the challenges that you faced working with so many software companies?
I think the biggest challenge is helping those companies realize what are the smallest bet that I can make. Like so many times we overcomplicate stuff. And so the biggest challenge is simplifying and help business find the quickest route to success. Another thing too, it's like, I feel like when you look at big companies out there with a lot of funding, their code best practice doesn't work for a small business because a small business don't have all the money they have, don't have all the resources they have. So sometimes part of the challenge is explaining to our customers, look, this approach that you read about, it's not going to work for you because you don't have millions of dollars. You don't have hundreds of developers. We're going to do this with 4 or 6 developers. And sometimes helping people change their mentality and understand that what they hear the big companies doing, all the propaganda, it doesn't work for them. It's part of the challenge too.
When did you start the company?
Sorry?
When did you start the agency, the company?
It was 2014.
And how about DevStats?
DevStats, I started a year ago.
And how is the journey going? Is it
It's
public?
Yeah, it's public. We just went out. We just finished like our last round of beta. And it's going pretty well. We already have a few customers using, and they're really liking the product. So yeah, it's going well for sure. We should be profitable in the next 6 months.
And how do you divide your time and your team between the two parts? Also the agency and the SaaS itself.
So the agency is very well established. It's an 100-people team where I have a CTO that's very good. I have a VP of product that's very good. So on the agency side, I'm just like more helping with strategy. I have meetings with the team that's running the day-to-day in the fulfillment. And what I'm doing actually as I build DevStats is kind of like R&D for things that we can do at DevSquad too. And I can bring like for my teams, hey, I tried this technology. We don't want to try in our customer's product, and this doesn't work. So end up being kind of like building dev stats is part of my job at DevSquad, because my job is to think about a strategy, is think about how we're going to build better products for our customers. My job is not in fulfillment, because we have a very great team taking care of that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And what has been your biggest challenge, personal challenge, since founding the company since 2014?
I think we always have ups and downs, and you have to realize to stay calm to the ups, so you don't make a bunch of decisions just because things are going super well. And you have to stay calm to the down and understand that things is going to get better. So I think the challenge, it is just to not be run by emotions and be run by data. I like to say that when emotions go high, intelligence goes down. And as a founder, sometimes we were like, oh my gosh. So it's like, take a step back and don't make a decision too quick. Things are usually not half as bad as we think they are. Or they're also not half as good as we think they are. We have to like really be taking a step back, right?
Yeah, this is super important. Yeah, absolutely. What has been your best growth tactic for gaining new clients?
So depends on the business. For DevSquad, it's a very established brand at this point. So we got a lot of SEO traffic. We write on our blog. Like we publish close to 10 posts every month, and that brings a lot of organic traffic. We have a lot of links that link to our site, so our authority is very high. So pretty much anything that we write in our blog will rank. so that helps. And then we do pay-per-click. And so we basically have a very big budget, because that's a company that does very well. And that budget is put into pay-per-click, it's put into SEO, and that's where most of our leads are coming. They're inbound. For DevStats, this is a very different scenario. It's a company that's starting right now, and I'm trying not to, because it's not profitable yet, not to lose so much money. So use different strategies. So for DevStats, we actually right now using a cold email approach, and we're testing our messaging, testing our real target, who they are, and that's also working well for DevStats. I don't do cold emailing for DevSquad at all, because there's way too many agencies out there, and they try that. So in the agency space, we really have to differentiate with inbound marketing, and we're lucky because we got into business so many years ago, and we have like a very good marketing budget in the 7 figures. Our marketing budget is in the 7 figures range. So that allows us to put a lot of money behind growing that business. So it's different, and that's kind of like, it's you have to think about the stage of the business. How you get customers is very different. And that's kind of like why I have my own podcast, and it's called SaaS Origins Stories. I want to talk to people about what did you do when you start? Because what you're doing today is not going to work for people that are starting right now. Like when you get bigger, and when you have things that you can do today that you couldn't do yesterday. For example, I like to say that a lot. Twitter or Netflix, they use microservices in the back end. That's how they build their product. And that works for them now because they're big company funded developers. But they didn't start like that. They start with a simplified monolithic application. So you have to think like what you do now depends on the size that you are. So that's why how I get customers for DevSquad and how I get customers for DevSquad, DevStats is super different.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask you. So you do not skip any steps, because you could have put all the money into DevStats and pump it up, and yeah. I understand. You explained it great. So it's a big difference from that. And please tell us more about the podcast. When you started?
My podcast started about like 6 or 7 months ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. And the main scope of it is to help founders see the initial marketing strategies and growth strategies.
Yes, and development strategies, like how they come up with product market fit. So I'm talking about like how you found product market fit, how you found your first customers, and what are the lessons that you learned when you were starting your business. So I'll be honest, it's kind of selfish. I want to become a better founder, a better SaaS founder, and then I started a podcast so I could interview other SaaS founders. But hopefully the people that listen to the show can also learn, and they can also become better SaaS founders. And the show is growing quite a bit, so we're getting a lot of downloads now, so it's pretty cool.
Happy for you. And what is your vision for the future?
So my vision for the future is kind of like, I'm not trying to grow a lot. I'm trying to build profitable, sustainable business. I believe lifestyle business is the best business to have. Because why do we work? We work to have a life that we want, to enjoy time with our friends, to enjoy experiences. So my vision is to keep building business that are sustainable and they're growing at a pace that they can be profitable. And that's kind of like how I'm going to keep building DevSquad. DevSquad's already pretty big. I don't think DevSquad is going to get a lot bigger than what it is in the next few years. I'm already at a 100 people company, and I kind of like that size. I still know everybody. So many times you're going to have customers actually waiting to start work with us. We have customers that wait up to 3 months because we're not trying to grow. We're trying to deliver value for the customers that we onboard, and we're going to be growing slowly. Because again, my vision is not to go out and work 80 hours a week. I actually only work 4 days a week. I take every Friday off. I think the business will work for me and not me for the business, and that's my vision for the future.
That's awesome. I totally agree with you, and I think that's a vision that more founders should have, because, as you said, why do we work? We work for the lifestyle, yeah. And working for 4 days a week, it's great, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're an inspiration.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I love to hear your backstory, even before starting DevSquad. So how you started your career?
So I'm originally from Brazil, actually. And I learned how to code from a book. So I bought a book and I learned how to write PHP. And then took some connections. I was able to get my first kind of like project, and I built that for someone. And then I used that money to pay rent in a co-working space because I want to be close to other people. I didn't even have like work to do. I would just be coding like projects so I could keep learning and become a better developer. Mm-hmm. But I met someone at the co-working that wanted me to build a software to manage his business. It was kind of like a direct sell business. I built that software for him. And I was actually learning how to code, and I was publishing stuff on my blog. So I published on my blog that I built his product, and kind of like by luck that rank on Google #1. People start coming to me because they want like a similar software. First, I just kind of like sold license, so I just got a copy of the same thing and put in other servers. After I got to like 3 or 4, I was like, oh, that's a nightmare, because every time I found a bug here, I had to fix a bug everywhere else. And that's kind of like what I learned what SaaS was. And so I built my first SaaS product, and was that product to help direct sales companies. And that product grew quite a bit. I was able to sell that product back in 2011. It wasn't a huge sell, but it was a 6-figure sell. I used that money to move from Brazil to the United States. I got to the United States on a student visa because I had money not to work for a couple of years. That's some of the requirements for the visa. So here, I went to college in the United States. I had a few jobs as a software developer, and then I started DevSquad in 2014. I first actually started on the side, and I was doing on the side, and I had my job, and I would do stuff in the evening. I would do everything, and then I started to kind of like have a team of freelancers help me, and eventually I quit my job and started my company. So that's kind of like my backstory.
That's a great story. I love it. So you started all by yourself, learning and going out there and meeting people, and that's awesome. That's awesome. What's your best piece of advice for founders?
I think founders should not overcomplicate. We talked about that a little bit earlier today, but it's so common that we're trying to do too much. We have to figure out like what is the simplest thing that I can build that's going to add value. Sometimes we need to build a tool before we build a platform, and I think especially now, it wasn't cool before to be profitable, but now in the recession, it's pretty cool again. But I think founders should be thinking, what is the quickest way that I can make this profitable, and then build it from there so they can be more independent. That's my advice for founders.
And I did not ask, are you the only founder? Are you bootstrapped?
Yeah, I'm bootstrapped. I have 2 other founders at DevSquad. I start by myself, but I hired a couple people, and they were super good. And then I gave them equity in the company, and they're like kind of like they were here from the early days, and so they do have the founder status too, and they are what makes possible for me. Like you say, how can you work two business? It's because I have other people that work with me and make the things happen at DevSquad.
Wonderful. Exactly. You are nothing without other people.
No, you cannot build anything alone. You might be able to go faster, but you're not going to go further.
That's a great thing. Yeah. Yeah. What's your favorite SaaS product?
My favorite SaaS products, my own. I love my own product, DevStats.
And apart from this,
so let me think. My favorite SaaS product. All right, I really like Notion. I use Notion a lot. I think it's an amazing product, and it can be used in so many ways to make your life easier, and it's so powerful and replace so many tools. And yeah, so it's one of the products that I really like.
Absolutely. Is there anything else that you want to tell us today on the podcast?
No, it was great to be here, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining. I'm really grateful.